Hi there, I'm Kate Wyatt. Welcome to Wellspring Arts and Crafts videos. Today we're going to make Christmas decorations out of recycled magazines, and we're really keen to reduce our plastic use, particularly single-use plastic, this Christmas, and we hope that you'll join us in making some of these wonderful decorations. So today I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful star. And you're going to need different sizes of rolled up, folded magazines. So you're going to need an old magazine, and I'm going to cut it into 2.5 inch or around about 6 centimeters wide strips. And I'm going to do it with my cutter blade, just because it's easier that way. But you can do it with scissors. This is just quicker, really. But if you don't have a roller blade and a mat and a ruler, you can just do it with scissors. Okay, there we go. Now I have my strips. I'm going to discard the top and the back because they're a bit thicker and a little bit too thick for what we want to do. And then you have a lovely load of strips. So now you need to prepare the strip for rolling. So there are two ways you can do this. You can fold it. So you take it lengthways and fold it along the length. You can see I haven't got it exactly straight, but that's not going to matter much. Fold it again to the middle, and fold it again to the middle. And then you're going to fold it in half. And you need to get your creases really strong and flat. So you can do that with your finger or with anything that you happen to have lying around that gives you a nice flat edge to work it. Okay, so that's the folded method for ending up with your strip ready to roll. But you can also create rolled tubes like this, which you then flatten. And that gives you something similar to work with. When you're choosing your magazine paper, look for the most colourful side and put that downwards. That's going to come on the outside then. Okay? So you put your skewer in the corner, that triangle there. You want a long one, not one with equal sides, but a long one like that. And then you take your skewer and you roll it all the way along until you have a triangle the other side, and then you're going to put some glue in the corner and then finish rolling. Bring it back and roll it a little bit more, make sure that you tuck all the corners in, and then remove your skewer. And there's your first roll, your tube ready to flatten. You're going to flatten it out and you put it in your pile like this. Now you're going to need quite a few of those. These are the different sizes that you can make rolled up. If I get our star back in, you can see I've got a large one in the middle sized, and a small roll there. Okay, so this is just one length of tube, so I'm going to show you how to roll that now. So you take your flattened tube and you start at you'll find that if you roll them up, you've got a narrower and a wider end. Start at the narrow end. If you folded them, it's going to be the same width all the way along, so it doesn't really matter what end you start. And then you roll. Keep going along the length. Sometimes you find that the magazine
actually starts to twist a little bit. Can you see that's happening here? So when you get to the point at which actually it wants to twist, you can bend it back, or you can just run your fingers along it to form a new crease in the direction that it really wants to go. So you keep rolling, roll it up right to the end, and then you're going to put up a spot of glue on the end here and roll it up. Just hold it for a minute, or you can use a paper clip just to push into the folds like this one, so that it holds it in place. Okay, so that's one roll. Let's get another one ready. So here's one I made earlier. We're going to flatten that out. See, I've got a little bit here that's flipping out. I'm going to put a bit of glue on that to tuck it in just to neaten it. And then I'm going to roll this one again. So starting at the narrow end, I found that the folded one was generally neater, but the rolled one like these are so much quicker when you get in a bit of the swing of it, rolling up with your skewers. You can do a whole load in a very short space of time. So here we go. Here's another one ready to go. Now I'm going to show you how to make a bigger roll. Okay. So you can see I've got different sizes here. This one is half a roll. This one is one roll, so just one length like that. This one is 2 lengths. And for our star, we're going to need different sizes. This is 1, this is half, and these are 4. This large one in the middle is 4 tubes rolled together. So I've come to the end of my first one. Now you remember I said with the rolled ones that there was a narrow end and a wider end, and you start at the narrow end. So this leaves you with the wider end. And you get another one and you take the narrow end, pop a bit of glue and tuck that inside. It should slide in. The glue will hold it in place. If you can't get it to slide in, don't worry, just put a bit of glue on the top and overlap. And then you continue to roll. And you're going to end up with a larger magazine roll. So this one is for 2. And when you get to the end, you're going to pop a little bit of glue on the end and hold it in place. Okay, so for the star we need a 4 length roll. So I've got my 2 already done here, and I'm just going to keep adding them in. So I get my narrow end, pop a bit of glue on, tuck it inside the wider end of the previous one, and keep rolling. Oops, no, that came out. It's not going to slide in so well. I'm using it, if you've got a glue gun, then that works quite well. You can just overlap them like that and then keep rolling. Okay, so this is my 3rd one. And then get my 4th length. See if I can get this one to slide inside. Yeah, that one works. Now I need a 4 length one, so that's my 4 lengths joined together. Pop a bit of glue on the end and hold it. Now, if you're using very hot glue, that's going to burn your fingers doing that, so be careful. I'm using a cooler glue gun, so the glue doesn't get very hot. So that's my 4 length one. I showed you earlier how to make a 1 length one. And let's get our star back in so we can see what we're aiming for. Okay, so we have 4 in the middle, and then we have 5 arms to our star, each one with 1 length. Okay, so we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So evenly space those around your star. You can use a template underneath, something like this, which I will post in the on the YouTube video, on the notes underneath, and you can see it'll just help you position them a little bit easier. If you're going to glue onto the star though, do cover it in a bit of clear film. This came from, I think it was a card that came in a little plastic envelope, which I cut up and I'm using again. So then for the ends, you're going to need half ones. So let me show you how to do a half one. Very much as you would expect. You've got your roll. I do have a tendency to have these little bits that stick out. So I flatten it, and then I'm going to start rolling as I did before. So because you've got a narrow end with these rolled ones and a wider end, I always use the narrower end to make the half, and then I discard the other end. If you're working with a folded piece, then you've got a nice neat even width all the way along. You can just cut it in half and roll up the half. This wants to twist. Okay, so I'm just going to check, is that about right? Yep, that's not far off. So we'll cut the end off, pop a little bit of glue, and then just hold it in place. And we're going to need 5 of those as well. Got another one there. I'm going to have to make some more. Going to make sure they're evenly spaced, and now I'm going to start gluing them together. So I'm going to glue each one at a time. I'm going to look for the end. I'm going to pop a little bit of glue on it. I'm going to leave everything else in place, making a mess of this, and then just hold it briefly. I'm going to lift it off the surface because I don't want to glue it to my chopping board. And then again I'm going to look for the end, cover it with glue, and then I'm going to hide that end in the glued point. Okay, just hold it for a couple of seconds. And that's your star ready. Now what we're going to do is, if I bring my original star back in again, you can see that around the edge there's one of the tubes flattened, and it just holds everything in place. It makes it a bit more robust. So we're going to do that with this too. So I'm going to need a few more tubes. I think it just takes about 2 to go around the star. So let me flatten. another tube, get it ready. Now if you've got your sizes fairly evenly, you can measure from the middle point between two arms to the end of the star, and you want to go slightly further out than that, so you've got a little gap at the end. Do you know what I mean? Once you've got that length, if you've got even, you can make yourself a concertina like this, and it makes it easier to glue. But it only works if you've got equal lengths in your star's arms. Okay, let's see how well I've done. Okay, I'm going to pop a little bit of glue on that middle point and glue the beginning of my outline, and I'm just going to hold it there for a few seconds while it sets. And then I'm going to put a spot of glue on the side. I don't want one on the end because the point's going to stick beyond. Okay? And then another spot of glue on the middle point between two arms. And if you've got them fairly equal, your zigzagging piece of magazine should fit quite nicely. And then decide which is your front and which is your back. You want to go for the neatest side. I'm thinking that side's my front. Okay, so now your star is nearly finished. You're going to get some PVA glue and just add a tiny little bit of water. Not much. You just want it to be a little bit more watery than it is naturally. I think it might need a little bit more. And now I've got too much, but anyway. So I'm going to try and get this PVA that I've got here, which is a super value crafter's glue. Doesn't seem to mix that well with the water to get, but it works fine. It's fine. So what we're going to do is use this as a varnish, and you will find that it makes your piece way more sturdy and robust if you do this. And then all you need to do is to find some yarn and to hang it up. And that's your star. Now let me just run through the other decorations you've got here. So I've got a heart. This was the first one I did. It's a little bit messy, but I still like it, so I'm going to stick with it. You can see a variety of sizes. These are half, these are ones, and those are twos. Okay, so two lengths glued together and rolled together. For the snowdrop, the one in the middle is a 3 length roll, and then these are 1. So you need 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 rolls for the centre bit, and then each of these is a half. So 3 halves on each end. Okay, I'm going to let you do the maths. Now, just to finish with, I'm going to show you how to make the teardrop shape. Okay, I'm going to use one of these folded ones that I had earlier. Okay. So I'm going to roll this up You'll see what I mean actually as I do this about it being neater, but the folded method is way more time consuming. Depends how much patience and how much time you've got. So I'm rolling it right the way up to the end, but not gluing it yet, because to get the teardrop shape you need to roll it all the way and then let it unfold a bit. Okay, let it unravel, and then with the end halfway down you're going to pinch one end. Okay, and then you pop the glue under there, and there's your teardrop shape. Okay, now you can squeeze it to make it long and thin, or leave it fat and short, it's up to you. But on this particular design, which I love, so the centre one is 3 rolls, this is just one. Each of these here is just one length made into a teardrop, each of those, and then you've got 3 that are 2 lengths and 1 that is 3 lengths there, and I've edged it around the edge like I did the star, and that is my favourite one.
So we really hope that you enjoyed this little video and that you're having a go at making some plastic-free decorations this Christmas. If you do, we'd love to hear from you. Visit our Facebook page, which is Wellspring Arts and Crafts, and we really look forward to seeing some of the things that you've made too. Goodbye and God bless.